Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of the Casually Avid Gamers Minecraft for Beginners series. I'm glad you're here, and I'm just exploring around our initial outpost, just seeing what I see, while I talk to you about today's episode. And today's episode is all about mining. And you know what? We've got a lot to cover, so let's get down to it. Let's start digging into our new base. So let's start, I guess, here, and we'll just start going down. And let's call this deep enough. And here's where we're going to hollow out our own little slice of Minecraft heaven. And okay, as we're about to get started, it's time to introduce you guys to the F3 screen. If while you're playing you hit F3, it brings up your debug screen, and there is lots of useful information on here for when you play. However, the one thing we're interested in looking at right now is if you look on the left part of your screen, 7 or 8 lines down, you see block : and then it's got 3 numbers. On this screen, it's -104, 59, 23. Those are your coordinates. That's where you're standing in the Minecraft world. So those are your XYZ coordinates. The X coordinate is your east-west. The Z coordinate is your north-south. And your Y coordinate is the one we're worrying about right now, is your height. So I'm going to turn off the debug screen, and now we are going to dig our way down. And actually, we're going to make ourselves a little alcove for doing that, just because. What I like for early game access to the mine is a variant on the dig down, or digging straight down. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, you told us never dig straight down, and that's bad. And it is bad. But we can sort of dig straight down. However, to get back up, we are going to need ladders, and lots of ladders. I'll tell you guys, we want to get down to y = 10. So again, we'll check our F3 screen, our handy debug screen, and we are at y = 59, and we've got 54 ladders. So really, if we get to go straight down, we'd only need 49 pieces of ladder to get down to y = 10, and we've got 54, so we should have plenty. That's good. If you dig out the block in front of your feet, under your feet, you're going to drop. And if there's nothing under there, you're going to drop an awfully long way. However, if you stand 1 block away, and you can carve out these 2. Oh, that's gravel. Best to use a shovel with that. And you can carve out, say, 3. Drop on down. Then this one over here, you can carve down. And you can carve, as this lags, you can carve these 2 down 3 more, and you can sort of piggyback your way all the way down to the level you want to get to. So that's a safe way of digging straight down. Now let's shed some light in here. And one thing you need to remember to do, because it's more of a pain when you place them going up, is placing your ladders. So just make sure you pick one side here and place it. Now let's keep going. All right, so it's 3, hop down there. Put our ladders there. A stone block with these brown flecks in it, that's iron. That's good. Iron is one of the most useful resources in the game. And the neat thing about iron is it's useful through every stage of the game. And let's keep cutting our way down. every once in a while you want to stop and check your F3 screen. So where are we at? We are at y equals 48. If you go down to that line that begins with block colon, then you look at the middle number, that's your y, that is your height in the world. We are at 48. We want to get down to y equals 10. Okay, here we are at y equals 10. Dun, da, da, it's the promised land. Okay, why is this the promised land? Okay, well, in Minecraft, the more valuable items, things like lapis lazuli, I think that's how you pronounce it. I've heard it pronounced many different ways, and we're probably all wrong. So things like lapis, things like redstone, like diamonds, they all tend to be found farther into the earth, or deeper into the earth. Iron and coal can be found much higher. So I guess the most valuable resource in the game, really, is, in a lot of ways, is diamond. At least for things you harvest for by mining. Diamond. Diamond's what you want. Diamond's what you're going for. Now, diamonds are found in a spread through, I think, from like 6 up through maybe, or like y equals 6 up through y equals 16 or something like that. But anyway, the closer you get to 16 and 6, the fewer diamonds there are. They're more concentrated towards the middle of that range. So 10, 11, 12 are the layers that you will find most diamonds at, or find the most diamonds at. And so here we're standing on level 10. So this block occupies y equals 10. This is y equals 11. And up here we can see y equals 12. Those three layers have more diamonds than any other layer. Now, those other resources I was talking about, redstone and lapis and gold, can be found around here as well. They can be found in slightly better concentrations if you move up a little or down a little. But diamond is the rarest of all of them. So if you mine on level 10, so you're seeing 10, 11, and 12, you will find you increase your chances of finding diamond to about as good as they're going to get, and you will also find plenty of the others because they're more common. So if you just look for diamonds, you will find plenty of the other stuff, just so you know. But what we're going to do is make ourselves a drop shaft. So instead of, when it's time to come down here, waiting for the time it takes to climb down the ladder, because that's kind of boring, we're actually going to set it up so we can just drop down this side and land safely here. And it just goes faster, and it's more fun. So the first thing we need to do is we need to fill in everywhere in the center column that's not torch. And actually, you probably don't even really need the torches. I just like them so I can see the landscape flash by as I drop down. So let's get some cobblestone and start filling things in. So we're actually put 2 there. Drop that there as well. Before we do that, there's something special about these 2 blocks, and I will show you. It has to do with that ladder we put on the other side. And as you can see, when you try to harvest something while on a ladder, it takes a lot longer. So down there's a ladder. And now the way Minecraft works, if you pour water down this hole, it won't go past the ladder because water only goes into empty spaces. And so it will look at that space and say, well, it's not empty, there's a ladder there. So if we put a source block of water there and we just go down here, I'll show you. Go into here and it stops at the ladder. Now, water negates all fall damage. You just land in the water and you stop. However, when you're using, there's a glitch. When you're using like a ladder or a sign to stop the water, sometimes if you actually clip the ladder in a certain way as you fall, it'll damage you. And at a fall of this height will kill you. So there is a very easy way to keep that from happening, and instead of just using one source block of water, use two. So we'll put one there as well, and now you can fall straight through and there will be no problem. So we fill in this column here, and then there we go. So we've got the ladder that gets us out of our mine, and we've got a drop shaft here. So let's just go ahead. Ta-da! No damage. So we have a good news, bad news situation here. We found some redstone, which is good news. But redstone can only be harvested by an iron pick, and we only have a stone pick right now. So that's the bad news. Then the second bit of good news is we found a bunch of iron right next to it. So I'm actually kind of hollowing out our, I guess, central hub for our mine. And so I'm going to take that iron back up and smelt it so we have enough iron, and then I am going to make an iron pick. Right, so making an iron pick, it's just like making a stone or a wood pick. You put your material at the top, in this case 3 iron ingots for a pickaxe, and then 2 sticks for handles. And then that gets you your iron pick, which iron picks are great. However, this early in the game, you shouldn't, or in my opinion, you shouldn't use your iron pick for everything until you've got plenty of iron to work with. So basically, until you've got iron armor, iron sword, and a good supply of iron after that. Let's go ahead and harvest this redstone. So it broke down, and we got 8 pieces of redstone, which is great. Now, if you try to harvest it with a stone pick, it'll break, but it won't drop any redstone. So make sure you're using an iron pick. And you notice iron picks are quite a bit faster than stone picks, just like the stone pick was a lot faster than the wood pick. I'm going to show you 2 different ways to mine. I'm going to show you my favorite way, the way that I prefer and the way that I do it in all my own games. And then I'm going to show you another way. First, let's show you the other way that a lot of people swear by, because really the name of the game in mining is efficiency. And what I mean by efficiency is that the number of blocks you get to see for every block you actually carve out. So one of the more efficient ways to mine is, and actually some people argue that it's the most efficient, and I'm not going to argue with them because it's really good for the people who like it. You just cut this 2 by 1 areas just enough so you can walk through, and then every 4 blocks or so, what you do is you just stare off to one side and carve everything out. And so you can see we've exposed some, this is lapis, and that's iron back there. And so we'll get those. But the reason why doing this is more efficient, because let's look over here. Right now, I see this block. I chop out this one block, and now I can see this block, this block, this block, and this block. Or, well, the new blocks I can see are these 3. I cut in one more. Now I can see what's in this block, this block, this block, this block, and this block. To cut out one piece of rock, I'm exposing 5 blocks. So I'm exploring faster while preserving my tools. And a lot of people swear by this method. And basically, you can chop 5 blocks. If you push up against the wall you're standing in front of, you can cut back 5 blocks. So, you keep going this way, cutting into the side, and then the next time when you decide to when this hallway gets a little too long, you can come back this way, go this way for, say, 12 blocks or so, and then start cutting in, and then do 5 blocks to the side and 5 blocks to the side. You won't intersect with each other, and you'll be exposing just as many blocks. That's an incredibly efficient way to mine. And like I said, if that's what you want to do, I don't knock it. If you do find stuff, you're going to have to cut your way in anyway. Okay, now I'm going to show you how I prefer to do it. And it's less efficient in that I expose fewer blocks per, I guess, block I remove. But it's also easier for me when I do my method. It's easier for me to get into the zone. I do a method that is called a pinwheel mine. And now what happens is I dig a main shaft and I make it 2x2 just cuz. And again, that's just my preference. But it also helps me recognize that if I'm in a 2x2 shaft, that main run will take me back to the main hub of my mine. And then what I do is I cut out a hallway and just dig that hallway straight out. So we'll see what's here. One trick I always do is leave the one in front of me for last. That way if we hit water or lava, it'll run this way, but it'll get stopped by this block. And it's just a kind of a safety measure. So we do that, and then we just keep chopping this way. At the early stages of the game, I usually go in one of these little branches. I will go out until I have 2 stone picks break. I just keep chopping through this way, and there's some iron, that's good. And I just keep cutting through, and I'll go out this way until, well, when I come across something that needs to be harvested, I harvest it. So after I do each branch, I dig over 5 and then dig another branch so that there are 4 blocks between each of the branches, and that's fine. And when I felt like I've gone this way far enough, I just stop and I dig another 2x2 branch out this way. And then when I get far enough in, when I get 3 or 4 blocks in, I actually start digging my branches this way. So my new branches will actually run parallel to this main line. And when I dig a main line out this way, it will actually run parallel to these branches. And that's why it's called pinwheeling, because if you look at it from the top down, it looks vaguely like a pinwheel. That's my preferred method of mining. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to episode 3 of the Casually Avid Gamers Minecraft for Beginners series. Today we talked about mining, and we learned a safe method of digging straight down, and we left ourselves a little express path to get down to our mine. We talked about at what level it's best to mine for resources at, and in my opinion, it's at y equals 10. You can always check your F3 screen to see where you're at. And again, that's just my opinion, but looking at y equals 10, that's not going to steer you wrong. We talked about the two different methods for mining. One, we talked about this branch method, at least I think it's called branch mining. And a lot of people think this is highly efficient. A lot of people, this is how they do it. I'm not going to argue with them. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it doesn't necessarily work for me. I don't enjoy it quite as much, and sometimes I miss things. My preferred method is the pinwheel mine, where you dig out a main shaft and then you dig 2 stone picks durability worth this way. And for both types, every time you see some resources, you carve them out. So thank you for tuning in for that. Our next episode is going to be about little miscellaneous tips, tricks, hints that haven't really fit into anything else we've talked about, but I think will make life in a Minecraft world much easier for you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something. If you did, please leave a like, please subscribe. And if you did enjoy it, hey, why not check out my Let's Play or any of my Minecraft minis? I think you'll enjoy them quite a bit. So thank you again for tuning in, and we will talk to you guys next week.